Good morning.
Good morning.
On this Labor Day weekend.
Labor Day.
Third day of the Labor Day weekend.
It's Monday.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm tagging Rebecca McCarthy.
No, you're it.
You're it.
No, you're it.
No, you're... She wins.
Double it.
So, we had a nice day yesterday.
We did.
We did.
Went to the North Shore.
Mm-hmm.
Went to a lovely kind of party cookout.
Somebody's beach house.
Got
Tina's.
to see
Tina's beach house.
Tina's beach house. We got to see the ocean.
We got to sit on the water.
Go in the water.
Go in the water.
We sat on rocks. Well, I sat on a tree branch.
Yes. And it was very relaxing.
It was. We enjoyed it a great deal.
So, we're not entirely sure why we keep doing these videos. But, you know, whatever. Nobody said it was a crime.
No, and people keep giving us feedback on them, so we keep doing them.
Yeah. So, Rebecca's going to tell you about her dentist experience. We forgot to mention last time. She's been going through hell for many months now.
9 months. 9 months of getting a bridge in which they keep messing it up. So it all started with this tooth, the second to the last tooth, on top of my mouth, and they had to pull it. So they pulled it, and then they said, okay, well, now you need a bridge. Or a implant. Anyway, so I went for the bridge because it's cheaper. I can't afford the implants. And then they kept putting on the temporary bridges and the real bridges incorrectly. I had 2 real bridges that were created incorrectly. I had several bridges that were not cemented incorrectly. Like one of them, for example, one side was cemented in and the other side was not. And then after my cleaning and me mentioning after the last bridge I had, permanent bridge put in the same place. And we're going on, by the way, this is like, I think like 8 or 9 bridges.
Preface all of this with the fact that Rebecca has anxiety and she has a higher than usual fear of dentists. I mean, we all fear the dentist, and hers is, this is everyone else, this is Rebecca. So, and everything keeps going wrong, so she has no reason to not be fearful anymore. It's terrible.
The last time I went in there for the cleaning, I told them it hurt, and they said, oh, it's normal. And I said, how can that be normal? And then I get a weird call from the dentist who says, why don't you come on in? Let's give this a check. And I'm like going, okay. Well, he didn't tell me at the time. He told me much later that they had left a piece of tooth in there from when they originally pulled the tooth. And we're not talking a small piece. We're talking a big fragment. Like I would even say maybe a fourth of the tooth. It was a big fragment that they had to dig out. So then I had to go through all of this again, but now my mouth is so sore, so painful. And they said, oh, it's not because we keep taking off bridges and putting them on and using this method. I'm like, bullshit, it is. How many times does this area have to be aggravated? So now it hurts so bad. I just don't know what to do. I kind of would like to sue them. I'm so pissed.
And she's not a litigious person.
Because I'd rather avoid conflict. I don't like conflict. It's uncomfortable.
They're very nice.
They are very nice, but
sort of incompetent.
Totally incompetent.
And I go in with her and I hold her feet while they're putting needles into her face.
Well, he went in the last time.
I went in the last time. I went in one other time before
I've mostly gone alone. I just can't handle
I walk her
going
over
back
to the dentist.
He does. It's so bad. It's so bad.
I hold her hand.
So since I've gone this last time for them just to check on how things are healing, I don't know what happened, but now I'm hurting even more. So we're a little frustrated about it all.
Whip it on.
Huh?
Go put on your gi.
Oh, not yet. So anyways, that's that about the dentist. And so we have to deal with it. I'm not sure what we're going to do.
Sue. Lawsuit. Get over your banjo. She
Bridge over troubled tonsils, exactly, Patricia.
Just play a quick song on the ukulele. She wants to hear it.
Oh, I can't play yet. Not in public. As soon as I can, I will.
Scared to play ukulele. We actually have a song for you all soon.
And when we're ready, we'll play it.
We'll play it.
But not yet.
But not yet.
Not yet.
Your hair is sticking up all over
Whee!
the place. So we're going to go visit my sister Susie in Utah, we've decided. Because we've had such a hard year, we're just going to go camping and maybe go to Vegas and see Love by Cirque du Soleil.
Yep.
Which I've already seen twice, but it's just amazing. And visit my sister and visit the national parks.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's exciting. We are focusing now on improving where we live.
Which we haven't done yet.
Well, we're talking about it.
We are.
And then looking for alternatives here on Oahu, but mostly getting out. So like we did yesterday was great. We went to the North Shore.
It was good.
And of course we had a ride, so that was nice. but doing more of that, and then going to Utah and seeing stuff. Because part of it is if you're in a space that you're not really happy with to begin with, and you're in it 24/7, you go that much more crazy. I mean, there's some people who live in crap holes, but they don't care because they're never in it. You know, they're out surfing and they're out doing this and that. So really their home is just a place to put their feet up once in a while. But we are in it quite a bit. So that's our thing. So a friend of ours that we were socializing with the other day, who is a broker, realtor, she said something about the Saturday Saints Family History Center. Maybe. You mean like part of the Mormon thing? We could look at that. What was I saying?
You were talking about...
she talked about there's some agriculture land here in Oahu, so we might be able to like get some land, build a small house on, and it wouldn't be ours. The land wouldn't be ours, but who cares? I mean, it's a 99-year lease. And we would grow things and be on Oahu and be near all these other things that we like. Mm-hmm. So that's another thing. We almost had an opportunity, or we did have an opportunity to live in a really beautiful house with our friend Suzanne.
Oh, amazing.
Amazing, beautiful house, and we were all orgasmic. Part of it was the beer, I think. We were like, yeah, let's do it. And then we realized it's not within our budget, really. Mm-mm. But... still,
well, we thought we're
still thinking about it.
Well,
actually,
it's not only the beer. We were thinking we really could do it. But when you crunch the numbers and everything, we realized that we would be adding almost $1,200 to our monthly bill. Plus, then that would have to mean I'd have to give up music lessons because that would be just too much.
Right.
Having
and
both
car,
of those things.
We'd have to use a car a lot.
And then the car would add to our expenses too. So the whole idea of originally moving to the Big Island and possibly to Salt Lake City was to lower our expenses. It was to have lower expenses so we could have a better quality of life. So we didn't have to work tons and tons of hours like some people do. I'm not interested in working for my abode. You know, a lot of people, they get these big old houses and big old cars, and then they work for the time basically being able to live in there. I've seen friends do it, and you got to find that balance, right? So you may be living in the most beautiful place in the world, but if you're working most of the day just to be able to afford to live in that place, well, it's not really
although, I mean, we also, the idea, well, yes, about buying, I agree completely. And we also were thinking in terms of renting that if you're just your money is not building any kind of equity, it's just going, although it'd be going to our friend, which is great.
But
you know, wouldn't be building anything. But I think at a certain point, when you get to be our age, or probably older, but after a certain point, who cares that you're just putting money away? You're going to die eventually anyway.
Yeah, and we don't have kids.
Yeah, we don't have kids, so it's not so bad to spend all your money on rent, as long as you know it'll last. But we're still young enough that we got to make sure it lasts. And so that's, you know, that's stuff we've been thinking about. Come on, show your gi.
No.
Rebecca has been taking karate, and she got her gi, which is the outfit they wear. And so she's kind of proud about that, because you have to be presented with it by your sensei. You can't just go out and buy one.
Well, you could, but I was told that you should go through your sensei.
There it is. She is awesome. The cat bites her ankles every time she works on her movements. We haven't figured that out yet. Harpo's very weird. Yeah, she tries, and she's not being violent or anything. She's just doing wah wah,
Just
and the
doing
cat's like
forms.
meow, meow, meow.
I'm not even making any noise.
Not even-
I'm just doing
not.
kata. I'm just walking through the kata so I can get it right. Right foot position, right hand position. And the cat just goes crazy.
So, persuade the cat to practice with her. Right?
I would actually love to.
And we sing now too, and the cat howls when we sing, which is always a critique, we think, and it's kind of, hi, Joanna.
Jojo!
Jojo!
I miss you, Jojo! I haven't seen Jojo in a while.
Rebecca is going back to the smoothies. I'm back to my eggs. And I think that's all our stories.
That's it for the moment.
Oh, today we're going to spend the day measuring the apartment and getting a little map so we can send to people who are interested in helping us.
Yep.
And, doing a little online shopping and whatever and looking for
And trying to
things.
figure out how we can make it happen. The big thing is going to be how to deal with the floor in this apartment.
If we do it all.
If we
'Cause
do it
last
all.
night we had this talk and it was disturbing, but it'd be a lot of work, but it's just, we don't necessarily have to. Well, the work is disturbing and the noise would be disturbing and
That's true.
talking about it was disturbing. Yeah, it's marble. It looks like marble and it's been here forever. And I think that if we lay something on top of it, the floor will be too high. And even if it isn't, I just feel more comfortable getting rid of what's there before you putting something else down. But getting rid of it means breaking up the tile, figuring out a way to dispose of it, possibly cutting your hands, and definitely probably disturbing the neighbors and so a lot of dust and probably having to live somewhere else for a while we do it. So and it's a lot of manual labor, but it's a project.
It is a project.
It'll be exciting.
Yeah. Yep. I guess that's about it.
That's it.
That's it.
Great. Have a great remaining Labor Day weekend. Try not to say anything racist to the people in your swimming pool. Sorry.
That's actually from an article he read today on the Washington Post.
Washington Post. There was an incident in June that went viral. This was a while ago, but some woman who happened to be white was in a swimming pool shooing out some kids who happened to be black, saying, "Get out, get out, get out." And she hit them and took away their phone and broke the one kid's phone. And for all the world, it looks pretty much like it was a racist incident.
Yeah. Well.
But all the white people in the neighborhood are not talking about it. Like, none of them. Nobody in the entire neighborhood would talk to the news because they didn't want to be characterized as being racist.
And this is the problem, is if you read the article, and we'll post the article if anybody is interested in reading it, is that a lot of people are like, how dare you call me racist? But they don't realize that they have embedded racism, that they are racist, and they just don't recognize it. So she said in the article, well, I was just trying to get the kids out of the pool because I knew the police was going to come. So in her mind, she was trying to protect these kids from the police. And you know what? I think it's probably true. I don't doubt that maybe she feels that that's exactly what she was doing. But why would she even think she had to protect the kids from the police when they weren't doing anything wrong? I mean, they weren't making a nuisance out of themselves. They were kids, but they weren't doing horrible things. So
Well, we don't know that, but
this country,
as far as we know, she didn't. And we do know that it was a private pool and that only members of the community are allowed. But members of the community can have guests.
And they
these
did.
3 black boys were guests. And there is lots and lots of white boys who come who are not guests, and they are not thrown out.
And they are not thrown out. The problem with, in this country, but I'd say it's probably a problem for the human species. I don't think it's like, only to the United States, is that we are embedded. We have embedded that we don't see. Embedded is a great word because you don't realize it's there. We are embedded attitudes about racism, embedded attitudes about sexism, and it's there all the time, but unless we're really willing to recognize it in ourselves, in every single one of us, then it continues to be a problem. This woman doesn't think of herself as a racist, but she also isn't recognizing that her attitude of we got to get the black kids out of the water is a form of racism. It's embedded. She may have thought she was doing it for the best reasons, but her assumptions, the assumptions she brought to that moment, is from racism. It just is.
Yes.
It's from racism.
Joanna, you're absolutely right. There was a lot omitted, and that was part of what the article was about, was that we omit everything now. We start talking and arguing. This thing was posted before anybody knew what had really happened.
Right.
And then people talk about it as if they know all the facts, and they don't know any facts.
They don't
All
know
we
any
have is a
facts.
19-second video.
That's it.
The facts, you know, if you fake news and all that, we do know that there's a policy in the pool that, you know, people aren't allowed if they're not members of the community. But we also know from history that white kids aren't thrown out, you know, so we have some information that's facts. But as far as to this incident, we have very few facts. We know that the phone was broken. The kid showed it to his mom, and it was shattered, and the mom kind of freaked out. And the mom's grandmother had just died that day, so she was emotionally distraught anyway. So it was a lot going on there.
Yeah, we'll definitely post the link for folks who might want to see it, read the article. But you know, I think,
bottom line, we all bleed red when punctured.
Exactly, and that really is it. But you know, we're living in a world where identity politics is now being used so much to divide us, and we're encouraging the use.
Our neighbor came over and chatted with us for a few hours the other day, and she's a very interesting person. She was talking about creating a game where people can help to solve world problems, kind of like thinking way outside the box. But she wanted to make it like a game because people are so into video games and stuff. So she wanted to create monsters. And I, speaking of what Rebecca was just saying, I came up with a monster called the fear of diversity.
Mm-hmm.
That's
fear
a monster.
Diversity monster, and it is a monster.
That's what happens when the kid's in the pool and you go, get out, get out. It's like they have a different color skin and it freaks you out.
It does, and they don't recognize it because it's embedded in their worldview, whether they realize it or not. They've grown up with it. They heard it from their parents. They heard it from their local spaces, their schools. They see it on television. I mean, and then we don't realize how much a part of it is because it's invisible to us.
You're shaking the table.
I'm shaking the table. Sorry.
Yes. And, you know, as she said, this neighbor, the diversity is a natural part of the natural world. You know, if you start removing, if you have monocultures, then
right.
Crops start to get sick and they die and they get extremely vulnerable to disease and such because you need lots and lots of varieties of species. You can't just eat corn, you know, you got to eat other stuff and you got to have it all mixed together. So diversity in general is vital. Not only for like breeding and our lives, and hey Michelle, we got some fun friends here that we haven't seen in a while. It's awesome. Diversity is also needed though in our cultural makeups because otherwise we as a society will stagnate, and once you stagnate you die. Change. I was having that conversation with a gal who said change is always bad, and I said no, change is not bad at all. It was yesterday, Frances, this one woman I met, and I said change is scary. I said change is uncomfortable. We do not like change. Nobody, the human species in general, does not like change, but change is vital because without it we cannot evolve, we cannot think in different ways. So I said to her, I said, well, then you're afraid of the change, but you have to admit that things get better often, or at least they grow after the change. And she admitted that. But the fear of change, I think, makes us idiots. And I don't say that to hurt Tim. If you watched her other videos. I don't like change. Change is the only thing that's certain. Gotta embrace it.
Absolutely.
Thank
Michelle.
you with that.
Thank you. It's so true. It's so true. So, anyways, interesting conversation.
On that note, we will leave you until tomorrow where we come up with another interesting conversation.
We'll probably just read another article.
Yeah, I'll read another
Spout
article
about it. And we'll let you know what we found out once we measured our rooms. We need Michelle over here because she just redecorated and refixed this amazing camper.
Ooh.
From scratch. Her and her guy from scratch. They did the whole thing.
Nice.
And the results were fantastic. They were really fantastic. We need your eye, Michelle.
We're going to have a fantastic apartment here, too. I mean, look at it behind us. It's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
We need to unclutterize. Okay. Have a great weekend. Aloha.